All right, the topic of the day, topic of yesterday, the topic of several weeks now. Politics here in Illinois, and two guys that know a lot about it. Our political analyst, Tom Seraphin, and Chicago Tribune columnist, John Cash, join us. Let's first of all listen to some of his comments yesterday in the closing arguments.
And if you're willing to listen, maybe later in the week, I'd like to tell you some of the inside stuff and some of the things they were trying to say and do. And as for some of the friends of mine in the state senate who unfortunately went the other way, Dr. King had a statement that said that in the end, you remember not the words of your enemies, but the silence of your friends.
All right, we should say that was last night when he came outside when he didn't think things could get any more bizarre. Maybe perhaps the former governor was going away for a little bit. He came out of his house and spoke. John, your comments on that great column today, just talking about his running from his house all the way down to Dearborn, correct?
To 219 Dearborn, we should make a deal with the feds. He broke bad on his voice, right? He said, you remember the silence of your friends. And he should remember that because they were awfully silent. They avalanched him. He couldn't even get one vote or two, not one, just to say, hey, we had a lot of deals together. He
has friends? Really?
Not anymore.
I'm going to just quote your article right here today, which is, it's time to cut a deal, Rod. If they'll let you, you'll do prison time, sure, and you'll have to testify against Cellini and many others, but don't think others aren't lining up to bury you with their own testimony to save themselves.
Former chief of staff.
In the coming days, you're going to see two things happen. Attacks on Rod Blagojevich through the media, even more. They have his political head, now they have to take his soul. They have to destroy this man, destroy his credibility. Because if he goes into the federal, not the witness protection, I don't think he's going to be like Frankie Five Angels from The Godfather. But if he goes and speaks to Pat Fitzgerald and cuts a deal, you're going to see a lot of nervous people.
I would imagine. Tom, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, he's got that avenue, and that's an important avenue right now. Everything about what he's been doing is staying out of jail. He's looking at hard time, more than a decade probably. So he wants to stay out of jail. And everything he's been talking about, everything he's been saying in the last month is to impact the jury pool. And one thing we keep forgetting is the indictment is coming sometime in April. But in order to have an indictment, you need the grand jury. The grand jury is meeting now, today, tomorrow, yesterday, last week. They go home and read the papers. They go home and watch television. They understand what he's saying. And they get the information from the prosecutor. They hear the tapes. But at the same time, they see him on television at home. So he's trying to impact them to lessen those charges.
We've all been saying he's speaking of the jury pool, and I've been writing this.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking his criminal jury, right? Tom brings up an excellent point. The grand jury. He's also speaking of the grand jury now. But I think,
No, this is the guy who said, I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight. And he claims he's innocent.
When he's looking, look, people are looking at a lot of time for him, and he can testify against others who are. Bill Cellini is the most powerful, in terms of politics now. Even when he was governor, Rod Blagojevich is a pimple compared to Bill Cellini.
Well, we know that he can't run for office anymore, that's for sure.
But you don't get to where he is in public life without having a lot of people help you along the way. Rod Blagojevich is maybe just the tip of the iceberg here. And a lot of people are now in Springfield saying, we've gotten rid of Rod Blagojevich. Now things are going to be great and government's going to be great. Well, now the weight is on the Illinois legislature. The weight is on Pat Quinn. The weight is on everybody that operates Illinois government. And most of those people come from Chicago. Now, if Rod is the bad guy, if he's the cork in the bottle, we should see a cornucopia of good government. That's what we need to be seeing right now, and that's the weight. And our leaders are going to be, we expect these leaders to come forward right now. And is that going to be the case? Is Rod correct? Are we going to see tax increases? Is Rod correct? Are we going to see a gas tax increase? They say no. We don't know yet.
When Mayor Daley, Mike Madigan, the Republican bosses walk, now that Rod's gone, every step they take, little flowers will burst up in their steps because we have clean government now? Come on. Okay?
Well, the quote that you put in here, too, I'd like to tell you, this is from the former governor. I'd like to tell you some of the inside stuff. And I bet a lot of people are probably sitting there thinking,
maybe
who's he going to tell that inside stuff to?
That's all he's got. There was one of his friends, State Senator Jimmy DeLeo, voted no. But you couldn't hear him say no. His microphone must have got cut off.
I saw that.
But I was thinking Rod would look right at him and say, "A2 to Leo."
$50 billion in debt in the pension funds, $3 billion in debt in just operating.
State's a
we got to meet
mess.
the Medicaid funds. We've got debt. We're in serious jeopardy of not meeting our payrolls in another month. All those issues have to be on the table. Just like in the federal bailout stimulus package, there's going to be a lot of money on the table in Springfield, and a lot of people are going to be watching it. And if Rod's out of the way, they promise an open book. It's going to be interesting to see if we get the open book.
3 casinos, new casinos coming, more taxes. Get ready.
Stay tuned.
All right,
Stay
John
tuned.
Cass, you can read his
So
article
much
today in the
to
Tribune,
keep
and
track
Tom
of.
Seraphin, thanks for coming in
Thanks,
this morning.
guys.
All right.